All right, it's JPEG Raw, show number 157, recorded on November 17th, 2015. Tonight it's just Tim and I, and we're going to talk about a few holiday gift ideas that both of us have. And this year, I think last few years, we've had a few expensive items in there. This year, almost every one of our items are cheap. I think we only have 2 or 3 items over $100, and everything is under $200. Right, Tim?
Correct.
And last year, Tim, you hit a home run with some of yours.
Yeah, but I don't know if I have that this year, but I got a couple there.
Yeah, I don't know if you have it this year either, but you had some good ones last year. I ended up buying 2 of the ones on your list. One was the drone, the little cheap $50 drone, which is still upstairs. It's still almost a year later. It is still working. I ended up buying 5 extra batteries.
Well, they were cheap. The batteries weren't expensive.
The batteries were really cheap, yes.
I think probably 5 was probably under around $10.
Yeah, and you get only about 5 to 7 minutes of flight time, so you need the extra batteries. But I got that and had a lot of fun with it. The camera on it is absolutely horrible.
Yes. They call it a high def, but I don't know what high def they're calling.
I would venture to say the camera on it is totally useless. So in this case, the one you're getting, and I don't know if I can find it here real quick, but maybe later. Don't buy it for the camera at all. Buy it just to play with it. But you and I were doing it to see, hey, before we go and spend some big money on a DJI Phantom or something like that, let's see how much we're really going to enjoy this thing and how much we're going to get into it. In my case, it actually, as much fun as I had with it, I actually decided, I'm not going to go buy the real expensive thing.
And that happened to me as well. A friend of mine that got the DJI, and I was like, you know what? Am I going to get a lot of use out of it for $1,000? And I had to really say, no, I wasn't. And it wasn't worth it for me to get one. No, I just couldn't justify it.
Yeah. The other one, so we both ended up the same thing there. The other one that you mentioned was the photo frame. And I bought that from my mother-in-law, and it's what I had been looking for forever. And maybe whenever, and here in a second I'll pull these up, but the photo frame was Nixplay. Was that what it was?
Nixplay, correct.
Yeah. And the beauty of it for me, it has multiple ways to get the photos into it. But the beauty of it for me was that I can add photos to it from my house. She has it, she's in an assisted living place, and all of a sudden new photos will show up on her frame, and she doesn't have to do anything. I needed her not to have to do anything. Just new photos show up. And so I set up a Dropbox for family to put photos into. So family from all over the country put photos in there, and then I add it to her frame, and then all of a sudden it just pops up on her frame. And all this is done remotely. I don't have to go there. The one issue I've had, Tim, is that in her location, the Wi-Fi is very spotty. So whenever it loses that Wi-Fi connection, it doesn't recover very well. So it's often just sitting there on one image, and we'll go over to visit her, and she'll say it's been sitting on that one image for 3 or 4 days. And what happened was at some point it must have lost Wi-Fi. When it got it again, it didn't recover. So I had to reboot it.
You know, now that you say that, I mentioned to you before that I got I changed my Wi-Fi network in the house. I wonder if that is one thing I know I didn't change the password on. And I bet you it is not moving up there right now. And thank you. I will have to go look at that later.
Yep. So that, but other than that, it has been a great buy. We really have liked that.
And how much? Do you remember how much it was last year? Because it's probably around under $100. I think. Now
I'm gonna
make you look.
I'm gonna have to go look at it. Hold on.
I'm trying to see. They have a 7-inch on here, and I thought it was $89. It's probably about the same price it was last year. And I think I'm going to wind up getting that for my mother-in-law for Christmas.
What was it? Let me pull us up here. The Nixplay 12-inch. Is that it?
No, it wasn't a 12-inch. I know I didn't buy the 12-inch. I should have bought the 12-inch probably, but
you bought a bigger one or a smaller one?
No, I wanted I think I got the 7 probably, or the 7 or an 8-inch.
There is an 8-inch, so that one's $129. The 12-inch is only $20 more.
Yeah, it's probably what I should have bought, and the darn thing would break. I'd actually get it.
Yeah, the darn thing would break. Yeah, so it's a good frame. That looks a little different than the one I got. This looks like the one I got. I don't remember getting a 12-inch.
I'm going to have to look to see what I got now.
But whoops, I didn't mean.
I definitely don't have a 12-inch. That I know, because I didn't know if it would work in the first place.
Hey, here, if you're watching this, Tim, you can see this, right?
Yes.
So actually, I'm on my Amazon account, so hopefully there's nothing here that gives away anything. But you can see right above it, and now I got the 12-inch pulled up, and it says you purchased this item on December 20th, 2014. So I now know I got the 12-inch. So that has been a great gift from a mother-in-law. I don't know, maybe I'll buy another one this year for another family member. It's been really good. It's good for someone who is remote that, you don't want to have to do anything for it. I guess you can have it home locally too. It's a good frame. It's a decent frame.
I bought the 8-inch. I just looked it up on my, and I got it back in June of last year. So.
Okay. All right. So,
gotta love Amazon, especially when you use the JPEG to RAW link.
Yes. And if you're going to buy from Amazon, use the JPEG to RAW link, like Tim just said, especially coming into holidays and Black Friday and all that. It's real easy. JPEG to RAW.com/Amazon. Take you to the Amazon page, and then you can go and shop wherever you want. But you got to do that before you go there. So before we get into this year's holiday gifts, because that was a little wrap up of last year's, Tim hit 2 home runs for me, at least. But before we get into that, something that we've been complaining about in the Facebook group lately, Tim, is the Adobe's update to Lightroom. I think it was 6.2 point something. What was it?
I still have not updated to the new one. I've left it alone.
I think it was 6.2. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Well, good news. Guess what I found when I came home tonight? Boom.
Oh.
A new update to 6.3. I can't install it live because I would kill the CPU, and Tim and I's lip sync would be about 30 seconds off. It'd be awful. But as soon as the show's over, I will be doing that. And this update to Lightroom, I don't know what they're doing in Photoshop and After Effects, but this update to Lightroom, let me pull it up here. If you go to Lightroom Queen's site, the Lightroom Queen, Victoria Bampton, who we had on the show a while back, if you go to her site, she lists out what it is that is in the update. So there's a lot of lens updates. There's a lot of camera updates, the normal stuff. And every update, they seem to add new cameras, new lenses,
right,
that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing, the thing that a lot of us are going to care about, let's see, where is that? Be listed. So they fixed several stability problems. They fixed the performance slowdown when creating standard size previews. Let's go back up to the top. Say that. Oh, here we go. What's new? The old import dialog is back and looks identical to 6.1.1. So it looks identical to the version you're on right now, Tim.
Excellent. Then
yes.
I can update.
Yes, then you can update. And it fixes some of the other performance issues that they were having. That I had some problems with it. Whenever it would pause, you get like a white grayish screen as it tried to do something, and then it would go into it. It just was slower for me. I had to stop it several times and come back in. I hated the dialogue, the new import dialogue. Anytime I would try an import, it would have this pause, and then it would pull this stuff up, and it was just awful. I hated it. I actually stopped using it for a while, waiting for the new update to come back and contemplating whether I was going to go through the pain of rolling back, because rolling back is not super
I didn't
easy.
want to roll back. Since I didn't update, I wasn't going to, especially when I had heard, I think she blogged about a month ago, 2-3 weeks ago, that they were going to, I guess they caved back to the pressure from the internet and they were going to go back to the original import. It's like, all right, you know what? I will wait. I even considered downloading it onto my laptop to see, all right, how is it? Do I like it? Do I not like it? And I said, you know what? Now I'm not going to do it until they go back. So
yeah. So that's great news. If you don't see it in your Creative Cloud update, then it should be there soon. And I think it's both for the standalone version, the 2015 is 2015.2, and it's for the Creative Cloud version, which is CC 6.3. Did I say 2015.2? 2015.3.
0.3.
Yeah. So if you're on the standalone version, you should be seeing 2015.3, an update for that. If you're on Creative Cloud, you should see a 6.3 update.
Well, I am happy. So
or did I just get that backwards? I got that backwards. You're on CC, it's 2015.3. If you're
Correct.
not on, if you're on the standalone, it's 6.3. I did exactly backwards from what I originally said.
And I agreed with you.
I'm glad I caught that before we went too far, because I would have had people yelling at me. All right. Enough of that. Lightroom, new Lightroom's out. Hopefully it fixes all that. I will be updating after this show to see myself. The other thing, Tim, did you see this? They posted it in the Facebook group, and I think Nikki posted this in our Facebook group, and this is our Facebook group. Nikki posted about this wedding. Did you see
wedding,
that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Where the two dads,
Yep.
the dad and stepdad, and the dad goes and grabs the stepdad, and they both walk her down the aisle. Really, really touching story. I'm sure it made that lady's wedding, as getting married is already a happy event. It should be. And that made it even better. But it's the aftermath that we're talking about here. So, this thing went viral. She got lots of attention, as well as the photographer got a lot of attention. And the photographer, I don't know if this is their standard way of doing business or what, had a 2-week turnaround. In 2 weeks, they would have the photos to them. And they're complaining now that it's 7 weeks later and they still don't have the photos. The photographer's saying something about, she's got a massive amount of pressure. You got to imagine some overflow. So the dads, and I'm sure the bride, have got a ton of media requests, and probably Today's Show and all those different places want to talk to them, and just overload. And this is going to last for a little bit, and then it's going to die and go away. For the photographer, she's got some portion of that where people probably want to talk to her. And then as soon as she misses her deadline, now they want to talk to her for different reasons, and it turns negative. So, it's an opportunity she had to make a mark before this whole thing went away, and she ended up making the wrong kind of mark, because she turned a positive thing into a negative thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, and then now you're worried all the pictures going to come out well. You know what? It's hard when you make a promise. But like I think somebody wrote in there, you had a contract and you got to fulfill your contract, whatever it is. And you know what? 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, but 7 weeks is inexcusable. I don't care what your reason is.
I got to tell you, if I'm her, once this thing went viral like that, there's no way I'm missing that 2 weeks. If I got to stay up 24/7, I am going to make that 2 weeks. And I know what's happening is you're getting all these requests, and maybe not all of them are good. You got to find a way to deal with that. And even if you got to find somebody to help you, if you're going to lose money on this gig, you lose money on the gig, in my opinion. You hire somebody to help you at it, to get it out on time.
Yep.
Because this is where you're going to get a lot of publicity, and you don't want it to be negative. And it's not going to last long, and then it's going to die, and no one's going to contact you again. But in the meantime, you don't want to have, the whole world having a negative opinion of you. But I'm sure she was under a tremendous amount of stress. That I can't even imagine the amount of people contacting her. I thought about reaching out to her and seeing to get her on the show, but we would be lost in our email would be lost in a sea of somebody that hot. You just can't get through.
No.
Yeah. But I wish, I don't have any knowledge that she is not a good photographer or anything like that, and that this is standard. I think she's under a lot of stress. So I feel for her. You just never know when one of these things are going to happen.
Absolutely. And it's tragic. It really is.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, in her defense,
this could destroy her career.
It could. I would also say in her defense, so I was a little bit negative on her, but now I'm going to be the other way. Major companies face PR issues, and they do them wrong.
Oh yeah.
So it's not, you know, I can sit here and be judgmental and say she should have done things differently because it's easy for me because I'm not there experiencing it with her. But and after the fact, you're probably thinking about all the things you could do right. I just hope there's somebody there helping her and giving her some advice and calming her down. Because especially once the negative starts, it's almost like a snowball. Once the negative starts and people start making comments, because I don't know if you read the article, Tim, but there's some comments, even ones like somebody should drop a bullet on her or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, really?
Yeah.
And I think really what it comes down to today's day and age with social media, I mean, things go by so fast. And as a company, you look at what happened with Adobe, with the we just talked about with the import dialogue, how that spun out of control, and their first comment was like almost take it as we leave it to you. That's it. This is our product. And now you look, they've turned around because of the social media. Or you have you saw probably some of these. The malls had changed the Santa display, got rid of the Christmas trees, and then social media took over. And one of the malls right up here by me, within 3 days, removed the new setup and put it back in Christmas trees. Social media is so powerful. Companies are willing to cave real fast right now. So you got to be very smart how you respond to it, because you can turn a very bad negative into a big positive, even though Volkswagen probably can't do anything to help themselves right now.
No, that is.
But a lot of companies can take a negative and can turn that around. And I just think of somebody, and I know you're not an Apple fan, how Apple can probably turn around a negative and make it a positive real fast.
Right.
And that's, you got to have a team for that, and you got to know how to handle it.
And right, I don't know what kind of team she has. She may be a sole person and can't, doesn't have anybody helping her. But the thing, once you start getting negative comments, and we, JPay to Raw, don't get that many negative comments. We get a few every once in a while on YouTube, and some of them I go ahead and delete because they're too vulgar. Some of them I just let ride because all right, let other people see what you said. But they're not that many. But even the few we get, it gets it hits you.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'd imagine with her, it's been troubling, and it almost snowballs. But I wish her luck. I hope things turn out okay for her and the bride. Hopefully the bride,
yes.
In the end, the bride needs to get her photos because this is a once in a lifetime. I guess this is her first marriage. Even if she marries again, this is the first time she'll have a first marriage. So it's a once in a lifetime thing, and the whole dad event made it even more special. So hopefully she'll get her photos before long and be happy with them. So we wish both sides good luck. So let's go ahead and get into the holiday gifts. That was
absolutely
couple of things I want to get out of the way. And then in the end, maybe at the end of the show, I'll talk about who we have coming up, because we did have another guest scheduled for tonight. I'll talk about that at the end of the show. We're going to have her back, so don't worry about that. It's somebody I really wanted to have on the show, but I'll talk about that at the end of the show. So my first thing up, Tim, is something that we actually did a show on, that I did my very first sensor cleaning, and I used the gel stick, this little gel stick, and I even did it wrong. Remember that?
Yes, you did. And it worked.
It actually worked really well, even with me doing it wrong. And this is the...
Well, that's because you didn't read the instructions. I mean,
I intentionally didn't read the instructions. Is the eyelid... I think it's the name on there. Eyelid. Sensor gel stick by... Name is. This is the Nikon and Sony version. There is Nikon and Canon version. There's a Sony version that is what, orange or?
Yeah, I think it was orange or something.
This one's blue. So I'll pull it up here. Again, you can see I bought it on July 7, 2015, because I have my own personal page pulled up. It's right under $50, $48.99. And don't forget to use the Amazon link when you go to do that. But it worked really well. I was shocked by how well it worked and how easy it was, Tim, when we did that show.
Something that you considered sending in for repairs, but you didn't want to send in either because now you're going to be out without your camera for a couple of weeks. And I remember when I cleaned mine, and I used the visible dust repair kit, but I think this is even easier to use than what I did, because you didn't want to actually swab the sensor like I did.
I was so afraid of doing anything to the sensor. And we keep talking about you clean the sensor. You're not really cleaning the actual sensor. You're cleaning a glass filter in front of it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's where the dust is getting that sensor
Right.
in
It
front of
doesn't
it.
matter. It's still on top of the sensor.
Yeah. So you get what we're saying. But this was so easy. And again, I did it wrong, but so read the instructions before you do it. But it was so easy to do that I did it with an older camera just in case I really messed up. But now I'm going to go back and do it with my other camera. I think I'm going to take a video of that that's a little bit better, but of what we did, in the live show. But I recommend this now, for $48, $49 to clean the sensor versus mailing it off, and you can do this multiple times, and it worked really good. So, highly recommended.
Okay. I will put that on my wish list.
Yeah.
Well, not that one. I'll put the Sony version on.
Yeah, the Sony version for you. All right. You want to go with back
Sure.
and forth, or how you want to do this?
Yeah, we can go back and forth.
Okay.
All right. So the first one that I picked was, and I actually use a different version, is the Black Rapid cargo strap. And I am not one for using the straps that come with the camera where it's over your shoulder. To me, I never liked having anything around my neck. I never used it. I always took it off. I wound up having just a strap on the side of the camera for my wrist, which always worked very well. But I always like to have something that I want so I don't have to worry about it falling. Mike had this version. I had a different type of system, which I didn't really like, but the Black Rapid is a great strap for carrying over your shoulder. It brings the camera directly up to you real fast if you need to use it. What I like about this one, it has a couple of pockets that they added to it, which I think is something that really you could use. This one would hold a camera in there, not a camera. It would hold your phone inside it. It's got magnetic straps on there so that the phone won't fall out. I did read in the comments, though, it probably wouldn't take any of the newer, larger camera phones, probably more around the iPhone 4, not the 5S, I think would fit in there. So I think you'd have to take a look what it is. But probably one of the other things that I like with it, and it has other pockets for whether you want to put a battery in there or a memory card. You know what? Last year, twice this past year, I left the house without a memory card in my camera, and I felt like an absolute idiot. I taken the memory card out. It was in my computer at home to download the pictures. I went out to take pictures of my wife apple picking with the kids. I took about a dozen pictures, went to go look at one. And I was like, oh my God. So if I would have had a spare card with me, and I almost always have the strap with me, and I had it then, I would have had a spare memory card. So something else to use with it.
Yeah, so you're thinking that maybe just keep a memory card in the strap.
Correct. I mean, they're cheap enough now.
Yeah, just put one in there and keep it in there. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And that was what I do now. I have a spare memory card in multiple places. So, I mean, they're cheap enough. They're not big cards. They're not fast. But you know what? Any card is better than no card.
That's true. That's true.
So that was my first one. $72. Not the cheapest, but it's very reliable as far as I was concerned. And I definitely prefer the use of it over what I had previously been using.
Yeah, and, I have the Black Rapid Sport, which it's got the thing, it goes over the shoulder and it comes underneath the arm. And I've gone back and forth. At first I said, oh, this was a mistake. I should have got the standard Black Rapid,
right,
and didn't like the thing under the arm. And now somewhat indifferent. The thing under the arm is fine. It's meant, I guess, to provide more support and make the strap hold in one spot better. But the thing about the Black Rapid I like the most, whether it has that sport grip under the arm or not, is that you hang it down to the side, and it's stronger than what you think. It's deceiving when you first attach your big camera, your big DSLR with a 70-200 lens.
Right.
That's got some weight, and you're hanging it off your side. While it was hanging there, I had my hand on it too, because I was like, okay, I can't trust this thing. But after you shoot with it for a while, and you will know that you connect it to the bottom of your camera really good. It connects to the bottom of the tripod mount.
Tripod mount.
And in my case, I have a Real Right Stuff L bracket connected to my camera, so it actually connects to that on mine. Because I have heard it will, after you use this a lot, it'll start to chew up your screw hole for your
really?
tripod mount.
I haven't noticed it.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned that to me. In my case, it's connected to my Real Right Stuff bracket, so it's not a problem. But after you use it for a while, you gain some trust in it, and I'll walk around with that thing hanging there. But the thing I love about it is how easy it is to just flip that camera up, take the shots, and then slide it back down.
And it doesn't hurt you around the neck like a regular strap would.
No, no, much more comfortable. I have shot multi-hours, swim meets, having to pull that camera up and down a whole bunch of times. It's got guides on it to tell you how far down it can go, how far up it can go, so you can stay in whatever range of movement that you want it in, that fits your body. Really, really good product, and I will have something like that on for every one of my cameras.
That strap you have with the Sport that goes underneath the arm, is that removable or does that have to be on?
Unfortunately, you don't have to clip it, but then it would just hang. It
Okay.
is not removable.
Too bad. It would be nice if it had like an alligator clip on both sides.
I know. That would be nice.
Or whatever the buckle clips, not an alligator, but
yeah, that would be nice. I wish it had that. All right, so my thing was the sensor stick was $48.99. The Black Rapid that we showed was, I think I've already
$72.
Yeah, deleted $72. So both of them under $100. And now I'm going to go with something even cheaper than that. And that is something called, I don't know if you've ever seen this before, Tim. It's called a Weibull. Wibal.
No, I never saw this one.
I have to go back to us here. I have a Weibull.
Okay.
And it's got white,
Correct.
Black, and it's got 2 shades of gray. And what you would do is, let's say you're shooting me, you would put this up next to me, take a shot with it, and then take the regular shot. And then when you're back in Photoshop or in Lightroom or wherever you're in, you would use this card. Mine's a little beaten
as
up.
the gray.
As the gray or whatever else you wanted. It's got a little lanyard to it, so it's really easy to carry around. And you would use this to set your white balance, to get perfect white balance with this thing. I've used it a number of times. It's called a Weibull, Wibal. It fits really nice in a bag. Once you wind it up, it doesn't take up hardly any room in your bag, and it's a nice little gray card, black, white card, whatever you want to have for setting white balance.
I'll tell you, I've been terrible at setting white balance. For me, I will get to it when I get in Lightroom. Far too often I do that, and that's not a good thing.
Well, where I've used this, because most of the time your camera is pretty good, but let's say I'm outside, I'm shooting baseball, and it's 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, and most of the light now is being provided by the absolutely horrible sodium lights or whatever they have in the field there. And I want to take some shots in the dugout. I will have somebody hold one of these up by them, shoot that one, and then that's it. That's just the one. And then the rest, and I have my camera set to, whatever white balance is going to be set to. I use a Kelvin. But then I have this one image with this thing, using this thing, and then I can use it to set the white balance for all the rest of them. At least get me close.
Right.
So I like that. So keep it on the white balance before we go to you. I'm going to knock 2 of mine out at one time. Keep it on the white balance theme. The other thing I use is the Expo disc. So
right, that we've talked about previously.
Yeah, so I have an Expo disc right here. It's got you can see that? It's got a
little grid in there.
Grid on one side, and it's got a white on the other side. So what you do is, they got it mounted actually on the lens on the picture that we're going to show online. But what I do is I have one size. And you have your lens, of course, mounted to the camera. Not in this case, I don't, but you have it mounted to the camera. You stick it in front of it, and then you point it at the light source. And you take, you set your white balance manually. You take the photo, take the white balance setting or whatever, taking this, and then it will use that as to set the white balance. And it really is pretty accurate. I've used it at swim meets to do that. And I don't get one for each lens size, because you could get one for each lens size, but I think there's 2 sizes actually, 77 and 82. I got the biggest one.
Right, because you can always place it over a smaller lens.
Yeah. So I've used it in gyms, shooting basketball, shooting, swimming. Yeah, one of the problems you end up having with basketball is the lights pulsate, so you may not get it perfect. But it's a good thing to have in a bag, of course, to help you set white balance. And this one is $49.95. The Weibull was only $29.95.
Right.
Two small little things that can help you set white balance.
And I think that the Expo disc has come down in price because that used to be expensive. That used to be probably closer to double the price, I remember.
I think you're right. I think back when we were trying to get them to come on the show.
Right.
And I think back then, probably when I bought it, it was closer to $100.
Yeah, I seem to remember that being a lot more expensive.
Yeah, I think it was. I end up using the Weibull actually more often.
I'm gonna have to take a look at that, but I just I am terrible at that's like I had a light meter years ago. You know how many times I probably used the light meter?
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot.
I have a light meter too, and I never use it.
Exactly, and
it's not really needed for what I do.
Yeah.
But so the Weibull is if I'm out shooting soccer and it's middle of the day, your camera's really good at doing auto white balance at that point. So I don't do it. It's only in troubling situations or where I'm really wanting to make sure I get the color right that I'm using some kind of assistance to get white balance right. Heck, sometimes when I've forgotten to take one of these or else it just wasn't working right, I would use the pool floor to set white balance because the pool was kind of gray. Wow. The pool floor was kind of gray.
Yeah.
Hey, that gave me a chance to shoot to set the white balance. Just use that gray floor. So you can use that or you can buy one of these. All right, that's my number 2 item.
All right, my number 2 item is something that probably everybody sooner or later has needed, and probably a lot of people already have something along the lines of it, some sort of portable charger for your phone device. Now, while it may not be good for your camera or anything, this is a charger that included with the charger is a battery pack, I guess, a 3,300 milliamp battery pack that you can use to charge up your phone later on in the day. So, a lot of phones that get used a lot throughout the day and they wind up running out of power. Now, I know me, it's not a problem. Normally, I'm in an office for work, so I'm always close to a charger, or if I'm in my car, I'm charging it. But there are a lot of people that don't have the ability, or if you're out taking photo shoot and you don't have access to a power supply. This is something that it's just a regular power charger for your phone, but at the same time, it has a battery pack that you can use to take along with you with a USB port in there to hook up to your phone so you can charge up your phone later on. You see a lot of them out there, a lot of different prices. I know I have a different type that is actually compatible with fast charging my phone, but this is just something that it takes the place of one item and you don't have to worry about charging up a separate. It's charged at the same time. So I don't know if this is used for a lot of people. I think a lot of people could use it. I really would rather see, instead of phones in my mind get so thin, I'd rather have it a little bit thicker and have maybe a day and a half's worth of battery. So I don't have to think about the end of the day, oh my God, I used my phone. Now it's not going to work. So this is something that you could have.
Is this just a power adapter or does it actually have charge in it?
It's an adapter, and then part of it breaks apart where you would be able to use it as the battery. The bottom part is an actual battery, a 3,300 milliamp charger.
So in that case, let's say I'm somewhere where I can't plug it into a wall, I could use it to give a charge back to my phone.
Correct. And 3,300 milliamps I don't think there's too many phones out there that have a 3,300 milliamps. So you could probably recharge your phone from 0 to 100% at least once.
Yeah. So that would have come in really handy last week, Tim. Because, okay, I was going to hold this to the end of the show. But, last week, I got to get us back on here. Last week, we were going to do a show, and I had to cancel at the last minute because my wife was going to we thought she was going to be admitted back into the hospital, and I think it was around 13% battery left. Oh. Whenever I said, all right, I got to let the guests know, I got to let Tim know that it's not going to work. I'm going to have to cancel the show. I had 13% battery left. And my phone, once it starts to die, it starts to die. It's like the end of your gas tank whenever it's starting. So I have 13% left. I am typing a message to you and Dom, who's going to be our guest last week, that I'm not going to make it because it's already 6:00. We're waiting to hear from the doctor on whether my wife is going to be admitted into the ER and into the hospital. and I type you guys the message. I hit send, and then I'm waiting to see one of you respond to see if make sure you got it. And right as I see Dom, and an email come through from Dom or Don saying no worries, and then my phone dies. At that point, I had no way I could do anything. I couldn't go onto the site to let people know that we're going to not have a show. I couldn't make sure you got the message. I was dead. So something like that would have been perfect if I'd have had it to give it a charge back.
And it's amazing how many public places you go that do not have an outlet that you can actually charge something with either.
Well, does this have a way to connect straight into the phone? Because I didn't have a cord either. I didn't.
No, you need a cord.
Oh, okay. Wouldn't do me any good. Because in this case, I didn't know that this was going to be happening. I thought it was a 2-hour doctor visit going back home, and I had plenty of charge for that.
Yeah.
Modern problems.
Yes. Yeah. First world problems.
Poor Mike can't even go to the doctor's office with a cable. She ended up being fine, and we got to go home that night. So just in case you were wondering,
that's a good thing.
Yes, that is a good thing. All right, my next up is one that Tim could have used tonight.
Yes, my light is a little bit broken,
except for your wife might not want you to have it in that room, and it's one that I'm using here. This is not going to be studio quality stuff. So if you're wanting to set up a studio and you're thinking Alien Bees or Echelon or whatever, the really good stuff, lighting kits that are out there, this is not that. But if you're wanting just a little bit of light to play with, and it's a continuous light, this is not flash. You're wanting a little bit of light to play with to get the feel of lighting and use it. You can use it to do some lighting in your house or whatever you're going to do. The power is a little bit weak, but you can add different bulbs in here, so you don't have to use the ones that come with it. And that is the Cowboy Studio Photography and Video Kit. And I'm showing the umbrella version. I actually didn't get the umbrella version. I got the softbox version.
Okay.
So I'm showing you the wrong kit. They have tons of stuff.
Right, you got gold reflectors, got different reflectors as well.
Yeah, the one I got is about that much too. So I don't. This one's good enough too. But it has the same light bulbs and all that. I got you can get the umbrella ones. It comes with the stands. It comes with the umbrella. It comes with the light bulbs. And right now that's the lighting I'm using to light me. So this is not on the list, but this is a Zap controller. It controls up to 5 different lights. One column is on, one column is off. And so I am going to show you, I'm going to turn off this light. So that is a Cowboy Studio Cowboy Studio softbox to my right. Turn it back on. I also have one back behind me. You can't see it, but when I turn it on, you can now see, right?
Correct.
Turn it off.
Actually, can anybody see you right now? Because
yep.
now
So let's do that again.
Wait a second.
Nobody could. Good job, Tim. Nobody can see me.
I just realized I'm looking at you on the other screen going down, and it's like
I'm going to turn this one off so you can see it. Off. Cowboy Studio lighting right there. I turned off. Turn it back on. So it provides a decent amount of light.
And now you could even see an example of it.
And I turned it on back there. Yeah. So you don't get the remote. The remote is something separate, but I can talk to you about that. But the lighting is decent lighting. It won't overpower like sunlight. It's not that powerful. But you know what you can do? You can, if these lights aren't strong enough, you can go to like Lowe's or Home Depot and get the LED floodlights, or if you want get Spot. But the LED floodlights, which is what I have up here in this direction to my left, and use those in the same setup. But it's a really cheap, $60 or so setup that you can use to start playing with lighting. Continuous lighting. I like the continuous lighting because you can see the difference it makes. To me, this backlight creates it's a good example of how it creates
big difference there. Yes,
it creates separation. Like my hair kind of blends into the background right now, right?
Right.
I turn it on, and now there's definite separation.
Yeah, that
between
is big
me
right
in the background. So it's a good starter kit. Once you get
Right,
into light,
before you start getting into like an Alien B, which is going to cost
yeah,
you several hundred, and you may not even know if you're going to use it.
right.
It's kind of like going back to that $59 quadcopter versus the $1,000 DJI.
Exactly. That's exactly what this is. So you end up liking this and getting into it and say, I've outgrown this. I'm ready for something more. Then you go look at Alien Bees. But look at Cowboy Studios. You can search for Cowboy Studio after you use the JPEG draw link. Going on to Amazon, and you'll see a bunch of different stuff there that they offer, including this one that I was showing, this one here, the umbrellas, but also the one that I have, which is the softbox.
Right.
And I use them all the time. I've been using, gosh, I don't know how many hours I got into these lights, and they're still going. So, at some point, it's just the light bulbs. I've gotten more use out of the light bulbs.
Now, those are those fluorescent screw-ins?
So let me get my mouse over there. Those are, can you see? No, hold on. See that?
So they are the fluorescent types. Okay.
They're like that. But what I have over here to my left is not those. I have two. I can't show them to you, but I've got two
LED lights.
LED lights from Lowe's. They're LED floods. I got them in, and they're pointing through an umbrella.
Right. I mean, anything that I had with the fluorescent, compact fluorescents, I've probably switched over now to LEDs, and that's probably what I'm going to buy anytime I need a new bulb.
And it creates a fairly soft light here, right?
Right. Yeah. No, there's no like bright spots off your head or anything. So.
Did I have that pulled up so people can see it?
The screwed in bulb, yes.
I had that pulled up. Okay.
Yes,
so,
you did have it up for a couple of seconds.
All right, so you got to see that. All right, so that was my number 2 item.
Number three.
Number three. And so now we're back to you. What?
Yeah, I moved around. I have a number 3 now is now the keyboard covers.
Okay.
All right, now I would the second one down there, the Adobe Lightroom.
Yeah.
Now there's two different types here. One is if you have it's a keyboard cover for a MacBook, so that you can see on Lightroom what the shortcuts are. And the second one, which I'm going to wind up getting for myself, or actually I'm going to put it on my wish list, and hopefully I get it for Christmas if my wife is upstairs listening or listens to the podcast afterwards. This is an actual keyboard that would work with a PC, and it's color-coded. It would work as a regular keyboard. It has all the letters on there as a regular keyboard, but at the same time, it has all the functions and shortcuts for using Lightroom. I love to use shortcuts when I use a keyboard versus going into the menu looking for everything. So this is something I've always wanted, never was able to pull the trigger on. And this is something that I researched, and I read a lot of decent things about it. So I said, you know what, this is something I'm going to add, and maybe somebody else has a use for this. It can be used with Photoshop and or Lightroom. So
is this the one? I have the right one pulled up?
Yeah, this is the one that I want. This is the one that would work with a PC. It plugs directly into a PC, and then it works as a regular keyboard. So it would be, in essence, a replacement to your keyboard. I think it's a little bit on the high side, $137, I think it is. Yeah. So that's you really have to need it if you're gonna go out and buy it.
This is your most expensive item, $137.99.
Correct.
$37.05. It's the Logic Keyboard Adobe Lightroom 5 and 6 Slimline PC keyboard. A lot there, yeah. So it's got.
And from that close-up there, you could see what the keyboard shortcuts are on there. It has everything written on there for what you use, color-coded to different modules that you're in. So to me, I kind of like the idea of it.
Are you thinking you would use this as your regular everyday keyboard, or just when you go into Lightroom?
I may. I'm going to try to use it as my regular everyday keyboard, because I think if I try to switch it back and forth, I'm probably going to wind up forgetting to switch it. So I am going to, because I have a wired keyboard. I have never really been into a wireless keyboard. To me, half the time that either the battery didn't would die on me, or it didn't connect when my computer went to sleep. So I don't move it that often. I have a wired keyboard anyway.
Okay.
And now the second one is if you use a Mac, you got it goes directly over. It's like a skin coat that goes over the keyboard, and that would just get placed directly on top of the keyboard, and you can remove it when you're not using it, or use it as it is with while you're using it. So it's the same thing, but a different type. It just goes over the keyboard, because they have those chiclet type keyboards that this would work perfectly with, and you can see there it peels on and off. So it would actually also keep your keys clean, because it's a solid membrane.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, I guess one of the issues with being a PC guy is there's like a million different keyboards.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
Yeah, and making a skin like this for a PC would be difficult because there's no one keyboard that has like a large percentage, of users. Where with the Mac, there's a more limited selection. So there's a lot of Mac users using this thing, so they can make skins for a select number of keyboards.
Right. A 15-inch MacBook Pro and a 13-inch have the same exact keyboard on there. The 15 inches just got the tray is wider, but the speakers are on the side, so you can fit on either one.
And this one's much more reasonable in price. It's only $30.
Yeah, this is very reasonable. So if somebody's got a MacBook and they wanted this, not only does it cover it to prevent dirt from getting in there, you could just wash it and it's easily cleaned, and you can peel it off when you're not using it.
Yeah, very good. That's two good selections. I'm gonna let you buy those first.
Well,
Well, the MacBook,
I'm
the
hopefully
MacBook
getting
one,
one for Christmas.
the MacBook one, I'm not going to get at all.
Now, I actually might get that one anyway because I do own a MacBook. So
Okay. All right. My next one, I have two more. And my next one is my most expensive one. And it's probably the least sexy, if any of these have been sexy. The least sexy. And I can't, no matter, I think this is one that if you told your wife or your husband, whoever's the non photographer, or, your mother in law, whatever, this is what I really, really want. Nobody want to buy this for you because it's so non-sexy. It's like I can't believe you want me
are
to buy
you
you
kidding?
this
This
as
is
a
what
gift.
you want?
But on the other hand, and I'm building this up. It's going to be very anticlimactic. I'm building this up way too much. On the other hand, it is one thing whether you're a Sony user like Tim, a Nikon user like me, a Mac user like someone else, a PC user like us. All of us, every photographer needs something like this. And it seems like we need more and more of these as time goes by. And that is a hard drive, not just any hard drive. This is what I'm recommending. If you're a photographer, that you buy something like this for all your hard drives. You're going to buy something to put in your computer. If you're going to buy something to put in an external enclosure, if you're building a home NAS to hold, a lot of storage, you don't get the Western Digital greens. Don't get the Western Digital blues or the Seagate, whatever the ones. Don't buy Seagate at all. But
Yeah.
but any of those power saving drives, any of those kind of things, buy a NAS, a NAS quality hard drive. They're specially made for the modern RAID systems. They're specially made to handle a little bit more heat, a little more fault tolerant. Any hard drive can die the day after you buy it. So no guarantees there. But on average, these should last longer than a normal hard drive, especially in a system where you're going to be pushing a little bit. So a 4 terabyte, I like the what used to be Hitachi. It's now HGST. I like these as my favorite hard drives. The HGST Desk Star NAS 4 terabyte for $169.50. I was going to write up an article right before my wife went into the hospital on my situation with hard drives, and back it up with Backblaze, who every year publishes a story on what they have seen in their hard drives. Now, you imagine, even me, who I have 50, 60 hard drives running in the house at any given time, that's a small sample. Backblaze publishes their results of thousands of hard drives. Seagate is off the chart bad. Every year they publish this. But the one that is in a second year in a row, I think it's second year in a row, proven to be the absolute best, most reliable hard drive. They still die. So don't say, Mike, I bought this and it died. You owe me all my data back. The one hard drive that is proven to be the best in their situation is the Hitachi, or the now HGST drives. Those are the best ones. So if you're looking to expand your storage as a photographer, this is where you go. 4 terabyte, you can get them bigger. You can get them a little bit smaller. But the NAS quality Hitachi hard drive.
I agree. There's, there's too many times where something goes wrong, and I just had in my my server one of my green drives I was sitting down here next to my computer, and all of a sudden I heard in the closet a screaming out of my server. I was like, "Uh oh!" Went into the system and saw that a drive completely died. So thank God I had a spare drive. It was a red drive. I wound up putting that in, and 16 hours later it was rebuilt. And that's a scary 16 hours when you got a 5 drive RAID. And if another one dies in that same time, you lose everything. But
Yeah.
it was working. And all the other 4 drives, I think I might have now three greens and 2 reds in there. They are they're all showing as status okay in the smart. But I have a spare drives ready just in case.
I have slowly replaced all of my green drives.
That's what I'm doing. As they go, I'm replacing them.
Because
I can't, and you know what? I can't go out and just say, you know what, I'm going to replace these, especially, they're probably, sadly, they're probably about 4 or 5 years old because I bought them all right before where the heck was that in, not Singapore, wherever they had the flooding. Thailand.
Yeah.
And I paid $69 or $65 for those 2 terabyte hard drives.
Yeah.
So I definitely got my money's worth out of them. And you don't get them that cheap anymore. But I'd like, if I replace them, I don't want to go with 2 terabytes. I want to go a little bit higher, so I have a little bit more headroom in the future.
Right. We're stepping back one thing, and I'll come back to the hard drive. Guest Chris out in chat says the keyboard, and I imagine I missed him. He said this a little bit ago, but the keyboard that you had, I bet it was the Lightroom keyboard. He says that
Yes.
B&H for $99. We were showing the Amazon, which was $100 and something.
137, so that's a big difference.
So sometimes it makes sense to shop around. You know, look at if you have Prime, you may not have to pay any shipping at Amazon, but at that price difference, it's probably still going to be cheaper to get it from B&H.
Yes.
Chris says, what are your thoughts on online storage? If we can hold, Chris, if you don't mind, let's hold that.
And actually, I just found that keyboard cheaper at the actual manufacturer's website for $80.
Oh, wow. We have a couple more things to go. So let me address online storage. I'm a big believer in backing up online. I use CrashPlan to back up online. So whether, this hard drive I just showed, it doesn't matter how dependable it is. It can last another 20 years. You should not rely on it as your backup, as your only backup in your house to back up your photos or documents or whatever you're doing. Use it for, local storage, but and maybe even a local backup. That's how I use it, local storage and a local backup. I have it in 2 different places in the house. But online storage for backup, I use CrashPlan. Because it's almost a set it and forget it. You tell it, watch these directories. Anytime something comes into that directory, send it up to CrashPlan. And so for me, it's a set it and forget it. It just automatically is doing it all the time. And that is the best thing. If you don't have bandwidth caps, you don't have to worry about that limit of bandwidth cap, being able to just turn it on, let it run all by itself all the time, and you just randomly check it every once in a while, is best than if you had to sit there and manually do it. Because manually doing it, you're going to forget to do it.
Absolutely.
As far as other places, Backblaze, I've heard people say good things about. There we go. All right. Remember, if you didn't come here in the pre-show, I had mentioned to Tim that we're using a beta version to help offset some of the CPU. We're using the GPU for some of the encoding. Apparently, I don't know how long we had gone. Apparently, we hit a spot where it crashed. So hopefully we can make it through the rest of this without it doing that again. Chris says back up. Yeah. So I don't know how much we lost there, but not too much. Anyway, going back to Chris's question about online. So Backblaze or CrashPlan first. That's the only one I've actually used.
Just let me. You are recording, right? Because I know you said it stopped recording.
Yeah, I am recording.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep. So CrashPlan is what I use. Backblaze I've heard good things about, and Carbonite too. Those are all like online backup solutions. If you want to do file sharing, of course the one I like the best is Dropbox for file sharing. I have used Amazon Cloud, and it's got a lot of problems. I need to do a write-up on that. It has a lot of problems. There is a use case I have for it, but it's not something I would recommend as a primary part of your backup.
Right.
All right, let's get moving. That was mine, the hard drive. So now we're going to go to yours.
Okay. Now I have a couple of cute little things. This Bokeh kit. I don't know how much use this is, but at $25, I said, you know what? this could be a nice little stocking stuffer for somebody. You mount it to the front of your lens, and it takes some really creative pictures when you have a highlight in the background. The one that Mike's showing up that had a little heart in there. The picture that came up after that, it looks like it was an arrow pointing to the spots in the between the trees. Then there's another one that has smiley faces, or there's the heart effect. So I don't know how well this would work for people, but I think I could see an opportunity if I just wanted to be a little creative once, instead of trying to do this later on at post-processing. Maybe there's an opportunity to try and use this at some point, just for creative fun uses.
Yeah, I wonder. I guess you. How does it fit on the lens there? It looks like.
Now it mentioned something that there's different sizes, like it'll fit to different size lenses.
Okay.
So I think there's 2 different sizes that would come with it, and it would fit to your lens. I guess there must be an adjustment piece that comes to it.
They call it the Bokeh Master Kit.
Yeah.
Master's Edition, $24.95.
So it's got almost 4 stars. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's a cute little thing.
I don't know how much you'd actually use this, but it might be fun to play
I probably
with.
wouldn't use it a heck of a lot, but just you want to mess around with something.
Yep. Okay. So let's go to your next one.
All right. Now I saw this yesterday. I think I saw this. And I was like, now I shoot people. I was like, really? And I said it to my wife. Oh, here's a shirt for you. I shoot people. And I'm like, really? And she looked at the shirt. She's like, funny. I was like, you're going to get some funny faces from people from this, but I like the idea. It's a little novelty shirt. So it's the little camera in the O for shoot, and it's a I shoot people t-shirt. So,
and the way they have the flash thing happening, it almost looks like helicopter blades.
Yes.
So yeah,
looks like a helicopter coming from behind it. So
yeah. Although, what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, that may not be the best choice of.
It may not be the best choice right today. But I do like the play on words. Yes, that's funny. All right, then I had something I skipped one. We'll come back to mine then.
Okay.
This was something that came up in a show we did recently. And I can't remember who it was. We were talking about the pop-up flash, and maybe it was with Blake.
Was it Blake or was it Ron from Texas?
I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But anyway, I was talking about, hey, my D700, it has a pop-up flash, has some use to it, not a whole lot of use, but it can use it to fill flash. But that direct light,
flash is bad.
Yeah, that direct light is just so harsh. So I said, it's too bad you don't have a way that you can pop it up. And I think we started talking about all this do-it-yourself stuff you can do, and
I put a piece of paper over it.
Right, those kind of things you can do. Well, I found this. This is something that fits over, and there's not a good shot here of how it fits, but it fits. When you pop up the flash, you can't see me doing it, but it would pop up the flash.
It looks like it goes on the shoe. It goes on the shoe mount.
Yep.
Because your shoe mount generally doesn't move up, and then I guess that's a mirror there that bounces it off to the ceiling. Then.
Yep. There you go. So it basically bounces your hot shoe flash, your pop up flash, straight up using that mirror, so you don't lose a lot of light because it's a mirror.
Right. Now the only thing I would be concerned with that is your that flash, the pop-up flash, doesn't have a heck of a lot of power. Yeah. So don't be trying to bounce this off a ceiling that's more than probably 8 to 10 feet high anyway, because the light's gonna disperse before it even gets a chance to reach the ceiling.
True. I mean, you're gonna lose a lot with this. Oh, there's a Sony version.
There you go, because the Sony's hot shoe is different.
Yeah. Canon Nikon version, Sony version.
Right.
Yep. Oh, here's a picture of it with it on it. When you look at the Canon Nikon version, they don't show you that picture. But now when I pull up the Sony version, they have all these different.
Oh, because Sony's better.
Ways. So there you can see it, going on the camera. And I'm about to point to it with my finger. That wouldn't have done any good. But you can see how the pop-up flash is hitting that mirror. Here's another angle of it. Using that looks like a Nikon camera with the Sony flash attached.
Yes, it does.
Anyway, I guess they don't have to worry about accuracy in these things. But you get the idea of how it's working there, and of course the pop-up flash has so little power to begin with, and you will lose more of it this way. But it's some way to divert that light. And at $29.95, it's fairly cheap.
Right, exactly.
All right, I knew I had that somewhere, and I was missing it whenever I was looking at my list. All right, then you had your last thing.
To let everybody know who you are. And I kind of like this powered by a photographer license plate frame, where a lot of people have something around the license plate. Generally, it's not something that you may have even put there. Maybe it came from the dealership or something that put something on. Maybe you don't want to advertise for them. So here's something that you can put on for yourself, powered by a photographer, just something to show what you got a little passion for. And at $13, it wasn't too expensive.
No, pretty cheap. Yeah, pretty cheap. I don't even know what I have on mine. I might not have anything right now. Huh, interesting.
Yeah, and it's made of stainless steel, so it should last. So
yeah, no, good. All right, my last one is one that, if you don't have this already, I imagine a lot of us already have this product. So
absolutely,
I don't know how many people it's going to benefit. But hey, the person last year, remember we were going to give this away. We were going to give last year away the 12-month photography plan, Adobe Photography Creative Cloud plan, whatever. How do you say that? The Adobe Creative Cloud Photography plan, which is a 12-month prepaid subscription to Photoshop and Lightroom. We were going to give that away to the best of 2014 winner. They have a choice between that and the $100 Amazon gift card. They chose the $100 Amazon gift card. So we gave this away later, and the lady who won it did not have Photoshop or Lightroom. So there are still, up until recently, especially Photoshop was very expensive, and Lightroom wasn't that expensive, but maybe you weren't as aggressive at going out and getting it or wanting it. And then at first when they came out with the Creative Cloud, they didn't have this option where you can get just these two. So a lot of people didn't get it. So I think there's still a lot of people who don't have Photoshop or Lightroom but would want it. Maybe you had Photoshop Elements, something like that. So I'm glad we got it to somebody who didn't already have it. If you don't have it, this $119.88, you get a full year of Photoshop and all the updates that happened during that year, and Lightroom, the latest version of both. And then if you want to continue, you would just then have to pay the monthly fee, which I think is like $9.99 a month. In my opinion,
which is the same as this.
Yeah, in my opinion, if you're doing photo editing and you're into photography, this is a great thing to have. It is, Photoshop
Absolutely.
and Lightroom. I have the full package, so I get all the stuff, and I get the teacher discount. But if I didn't and I could only afford this, I would definitely have this. I'd make sure I like both products, Photoshop and Lightroom, so I wouldn't want to be without either one. I do most of my editing in Lightroom, but when I need Photoshop, I need Photoshop. And so I would want both. And for $9.99 a month, or in this case, an annual price of $119.88, it's hard to beat.
Right. And if you think what do you spend $10 a month on, you can easily get this in there. And I use Lightroom for probably since Lightroom 2, I think I went into it, and it made it so much easier to edit with raw photos. Prior to that, I'd only be doing JPEGs, but yeah, I can't imagine using anything else at this point.
Yeah. Well, that was the list. I think we've been through both of our lists of everything that is on our holiday gift ideas, not gift guide, holiday gift ideas. A lot of fairly cheap ideas. I think my most expensive was $169. Your most expensive was $137 or whatever if you bought it on Amazon, and Chris found it cheaper and you found it cheaper somewhere else too. So that means only one of the items was over $100.
Yep.
Lots of good ideas out there to go and get something either for you or for your, a photographer friend, or to tell one of your friends or spouse or whatever to get for you. So let me just briefly tell you what happened with our guest that was going to be tonight, Karen Hutton, somebody who I am excited to have on the show. In addition to being an amazing photographer, she's also a voiceover artist. Her voice, you might have heard it on different commercials or something like that and just not know it. But her voice is fantastic when she is in the voiceover mode. And she had a voiceover gig tonight and had to, I told her, hey, we don't pay you to come on the show. If you got a paying gig, always take the paying gig. But we quickly rescheduled. She'll be here on December 8th. We'll have Don, who we rescheduled because of last week, next week. And then we have A.D. Wheeler coming on the week after. I'm sorry, push all that 1 week because next week we're out because of Thanksgiving. Right, Tim?
Correct.
So December, where's my calendar?
Yeah, I had the calendar up before, and I actually still have it up.
Yeah.
No show.
December 1st is Don. December 8th is Karen Hutton. And December 15th is A.D. Wheeler. A.D. is going to talk about a lot of things, one of them being his switch to Sony.
Smart guy.
So that should be interesting. AD is also going to be, well, go ahead. You want to say something?
It should be interesting because I don't know which camera he switched to from Sony, but I'm going to imagine he went to the A7 series, and I decided against switching over to that, partly because I have all the lenses with the different mount from Sony, and I want to hear what he says because maybe he convinces me, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he says. So before I get into the closing stuff, or to start the closing stuff here, some of the things we mentioned tonight are on Amazon, and some of them you can find cheaper somewhere else. That's up to you where you want to buy it. But if you're going to buy something from Amazon, either one of these photography gifts or something totally unrelated to photography, to help support the show, and we use this money not actually to run the show. I do that at my own personal expense because Tim and I love doing this. But to do the giveaways that I'm going to talk about here in just a minute, we use this money to fund giveaways back to our listeners, back to the photo community. And we do that with the funds that we get from you using our link, which is jpeg2raw.com/Amazon. Use that before you go to Amazon to buy something. Because if you already filled up your cart and then go and do this, it won't work. You got to do it before you go to Amazon. And what you can do is use that link, go to Amazon, and then bookmark that initial page as your Amazon page, and then it'll automatically do it every time you do it. If you can't remember the link, well, then this next part won't help you. If you go to jpeg2raw.com, there's an Amazon link at the top of the page. But just click on that, go there, and then we'll get a small credit, and then we give it back to our listeners, like I said. We also have a affiliate link with Topaz Labs. We didn't talk about them tonight, but I use some of their products. I know, Tim, you bought their total bundle, whatever it was. And that link is jpeg2raw.com/Topaz Labs. So if you're going to buy any of the Topaz Labs products, use that link before you go there and do that. In our forums, they're really slow. It's only me. But I use it a lot for posting when we're going to have somebody on the show. We use it for the editing contest that we have in a Facebook group. That's where you go to download stuff. So it actually is getting a lot of what you would say admin use and me posting every once in a while. And so I'd love to have you out there and join me in that. And that is jpeg2raw.com/forums, which is desperately needing you to come out there and help me in the posting and getting some traction going on there. Come out there, join in.
I'm guilty.
Come out there, join in. I will then have to approve you to come in because we get spammers trying to join from the Ukraine and Russia every day. So I will have to approve you to come in. Then you get in, then you start posting. And then if you don't want to join the forums and you want to be in our most active place, probably our most active community is our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/jpeg2raw. We have over 1,500 people in there, a lot of active posts, a lot of good photographers who are willing to share and answer questions and give feedback or just have a general discussion, we'd love to have you come out there and join us in the Facebook group and contribute, or just what do you call it? Not stalk, but just watch and then join in. Every month we have a photo contest or a photo challenge. Right now we've been having photo contests. For the month of November, the contest is an open theme. Whatever you want to take a photo of, as long as it is appropriate, whatever you're taking a photo of in the month of November, you enter into the contest. You can do it on our website or through the Facebook group. There's a pinned post at the top. You do that, and the winner will, one gets announced, and two gets put up on the top of the page. The Facebook group, top of the Facebook group. And then we have posted some other places too. For December, we do something special. For December, it is the best of the year. In this case, the best of 2015. And A.D. Wheeler, who I mentioned, is coming on as a guest. He is again going to be a guest judge, a celebrity judge for us. He was last year. So he's going to be a celebrity judge. Don Com.
Yeah, Don Com, thank you. Yes.
Is going to be a judge. Blake Rudis is going to be a judge. And then I'm working on two more to be judges. And so what we'll do is take the full pool of all the images, narrow it down to 6, give the 6 to the judges. They will then judge the images, and the top 3, at least the top 3, will win something. Blake is donating some stuff. I'm going to do a post on this so you know what it is. But he's donating some of his really good stuff. Some of his Total Zone System. I'm losing track of it. He's donating some stuff. The winner will get a $100 Amazon gift card. The second place gets a $50, and third place gets a $25. There may also be something from Don Com and
Amaricha.
Yeah, and some other gifts. So unlike our normally monthly one, this is where we're going to spend some of that money that we got from the Amazon links. So there will be some gifts, some prizes for the winners. So be looking out for more of that. You'll be able to enter in December. Your best image of 2015 is what we're looking for. All right. If you want to get this show as soon as Mike releases it, I'm not always consistent on when I release it, but if you want to get it whenever it's released, the best way is to subscribe. And you can subscribe if you want video. You can do it on iTunes, YouTube, Vimeo. That's the only 3 places right now for video. If you want audio, the best places are iTunes again, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podomatic, Podbean, and soon to be Google Play Music.
I hope you have that all written down and not just memorized.
I do have it written down.
I was going to say, my goodness.
Yeah, some of those get it automatically. Some of them I have to manually upload. So I have to have this written down so I remember to put them there. We're still using the music on the intro and the exit, the little bit of music that I put there, and the recorded version from Jeff Troutman. And thanks to Aaron Shutt, who gave us that connection and got us that music. We're still using that music and appreciate them giving that to us. And if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, which that was how she won the photography prepaid plan for the year, I chose randomly from people who signed up for the newsletter, which I still haven't done one yet. But I had announced that.
I don't think I'm not on that mail list.
Yeah, I had announced, hey, sign up for something that you may never get anything from, but sign up for this and have a chance to win the photography plan. So people signed up. And you should have known going in. I said, I haven't done this yet. I don't know when we'll get around to it. So you definitely don't have to worry about us spamming you.
No.
But I will get around to that eventually. We'll do a newsletter, not a spam, every day, send out something. It'll be reasonable. And we'll do a newsletter coming up.
Maybe once a year.
Well, hopefully more than that. But if you want to sign up for the newsletter, just go to jpeg2raw.com, and almost everywhere, except for the live page where people are right now, almost everywhere on the site, on the right-hand side, there is a sign-up where you can sign up. If you're on the live page right now, up top of I guess it's over to my right. I don't know how this is going to work when I'm pointing.
Right.
There are some links above the chat room that says, one is a Facebook like, one is a Twitter. I'm pointing to the wrong way. This way. Yep. A Twitter link, a Google Plus link. click on one of those and give us a like or a tweet or a Google Plus one, so we can bump up those numbers over time. We'd also appreciate if you go out to iTunes and leave us a review. We have on our website how to leave a review in iTunes. We love that too. And that's it, Tim.
Perfect.
We'll not be here next week, but we will be the following week. So until 2 weeks,
Enjoy your Thanksgiving
enjoy
dinner.
your Thanksgiving and keep it raw. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.